two of my favorite texts. The Ballad or the Bullet is a Malcolm X speech that was given less than a year before his assassination in 1965. The speech was one of my favorites because of its impact on the civil rights movement. I always preferred Malcolm's to Martin's doctrines. In his speech, X gives the oppressors an ultimatum. Blacks can either be enfranchised or violence will ensue. The Ballad or the Bullet. The speech spurred the movement, the civil rights movement, and may have been so effective that it got him killed. Another of my favorite texts was The Harlem Dancer by Claude McKay. The Harlem Dancer by Claude McKay is a poem that talks about a dancer in a nightclub. When he says, "But looking at her falsely smiling face, I knew herself was not in that strange place." McKay uses a couplet to create imagery of the lonely dancer amongst the crowd of onlookers. She has sacrificed herself for the nightlife and is now a shell of herself. In my lifetime, I've had a few personal encounters with the oppressive system. As a black male, the system is constantly trying to emasculate me. Mass incarceration has drastic effects on my demographic. One of them being that once free, it is harder to earn an honest living, to establish and support one's family. Gang culture and drug culture are often force-fed to my demographic before we are old enough to realize that we are under attack. Gang activity leads black males down a path opposite of education and towards incarceration or death. Both outcomes further emasculate us. Drug culture works to the same end by making junkies of the users or criminals of distributors. There are various elements of culture: religion, tradition, politics, language, art, and literature, to name a few. Before taking this class, I understood African American culture to be a monolith, and anything I deemed to be outside of that monolith to be outside of black culture. After taking the class, I understand now that black culture is metamorphic. It changes as time goes on. It evolves. Blacks are often forced into religion, and as they grow older, begin making decisions for themselves. African Americans explore religions other than Christianity. A popular debate today is over acting black. Before the semester, I was quick to reject anything from African American culture if I hadn't encountered it prior to that point. I felt that the individuals whose behavior resembled that of the character Tom from the Boondocks didn't deserve to be associated with the culture. This also broaches the topic of African American language. Since taking the class, I understand now that African American culture is not a pot of gumbo is a pot of gumbo with many different elements. Black speaks with many different contributions. Blacks speak various languages and dialects. Before the class, I had a limited understanding of the impact African American art and literature, I had a limited understanding of the impact of African American art and literature. Now, I know that America's history has been molded either by or in response to black art and literature. These may be our most formidable weapons to effect change, both positive and negative, for African Americans. The literature has shaped how we view ourselves and how others view us to a certain degree. African American literature is perhaps our most effective tool, is perhaps the most effective tool for us today. Reading is essential, and reading African American literature is even more essential for blacks. The class is a hybrid of an English class and a history class. It provides a unique opportunity for you to learn your history and the effects of literary works created by African Americans. There comes a certain pride with understanding the contributions of your people to the history of the nation.